just to support them, really. It's called Tackling Mines, right?
Tackling Mines?
Tackling Mines, it's a fishing organisation, angling, because the angling institutes now in England are working with the health system in England, like, for mental health. They're bringing children with mental problems and adults with mental problems fishing, and the fishing is the key to.
Absolutely.
It's key to success for their mind. Like, there's a lot of people have bad mental problems, and this Tackling Minds thing in England is huge. It's getting huge. So I joined it, and then I keep up to what they're up to, like, you know. But I can reflect to some of the work that they're doing, you know, because I help the children here, you know.
Yeah.
And even children without disabilities, you know, children with and without disabilities, like, and autistic children, and that's all mental problems, you know.
We're all mental, Kipper.
I know that, but I find it, and even their parents find it, the children with problems, you know, after they've been fishing and everything else. Even the school teachers have come back and said he's changed. He's doing really well at this, and it's all, they know it's down to the fishing, but they won't say it. They won't say it, like, because they don't want to give the credit. You know what I mean?
Of course they don't. They think their textbooks, which are full of shit most of the time.
Yeah, you see, like young Harry, one of my little fellas now. He's getting big now. I mean, he had to change school because they were bullying him at school and everything, right? And
kids can be cruel, man.
Oh yeah. They were calling him a fat fucker and this and that, and his mother would telling me what's happening in school. So I had him on the boat in for 2.5 hours fishing, like. So I'd be talking to him then, like, about what's happening in school. Don't mind them. I'd say, look, they're doing this because they know I'm different, and you know, just forget about them. You know, just carry on and do your own thing, and he feels much better. He was going home then more confident and everything else, you know.
Well, yeah, it's very
and
important.
his mother was saying, his mother being, she said, I think I have a miniature fucking Kipper going around the house. She says, listen, she says, I don't want you gone, she says, but when you do go, you don't have to worry about the river with these guys. You have them all tuned into what you want done and what's and who's who and what's what.
But I remember when I was in school, you know, they'd have like a nature walk once a month.
Yeah.
Or once a week even, usually with the science class, and they take you out to the park, talk about all the trees, names.
I have one next year for St. Joseph's.
That's a brilliant fucking concept.
On the boat, and it's going to run for right through the whole summer until they break up from school. So I had them out once or twice a week. St. Joseph's School, they're talking about 500 students.
Fuck, that's great.
On and off the boat there.
That's great.
And you know, so we're pulling leaves off the trees along the river, and well, it's up to the teacher to tell them what leaves are. I don't know them all, but I do know a lot of them. Like, and of course, I know all the animals and birds. You know what I mean? That's the.
The father had this app on his phone, and he'd take a photo of a fucking flower, and then it'd tell him everything you need to know about the flower.
Yeah.
Where its native origins are, what its pros and cons are.
Yeah. But that river, I mean, that's a special area of conservation down here, like in Fermoy, you know.
Yeah.
And it's one of the top special areas of conservation in our country, like. Just around Fermoy, like the Blackwater and the surrounding areas. It's a special area of conservation. But last year we had 2 black-crowned herdens there.
Oh, really?
They're from fucking Poland or Russia or Ukraine or someplace. They don't belong here at all.
Refugees again.
We had 2 of them on the fucking river, right? A larger and a smaller one, like an older bird and a younger bird.
What do they look like?
I'm be going into battle now with Cork County Council regarding the sodas coming into the river. Like. I've identified three spots in Fermoy. There's raw sodas going into the river. Like.
Right.
And I have people on the wheelie boat and they can smell human fucking waste. I was coming out the other side of the property and it's coming down into a little water inlet that's feeding straight into the river. Like.
Yeah.
And the last time I was up there now, there was a dead blackbird inside it, floating.
Fucking Christ.
So then I got onto the EPA in Wexford and I said, listen, don't play past the book here with me now, I said. I got onto the Ryan's office as well. I sent an email to the minister's office, right? I basically told him he's a fucking tosser, right? I said, don't beat around the bush with me. They've noted my complaint now and they've given me a number Yeah, that's it, like. But at least they contacted the Minister's office with the complaint. And the EPA and Wexford, of course, passed the buck. They came straight back to me and said, it's not their problem, it's Cork County Council's problem. That you have to get onto Cork County Council. But I know now when I complain to Cork County Council, they're going to tell me to get onto the EPA.
But I don't know, I mean...
And, you know...
I've never had dealings with any of these...
But I've dealing with them for fucking years regarding the weir. And it just goes around and around and around and comes all the way back to the same person as you complained first day to.
So when it comes to the weir, right?
Yeah.
Why is it not fixed after they making a mess of it? It's a scar and the function of it as well.
Yeah, but you see, you have too many agencies involved.
Well, that's, yeah.
You have Irish Water, you have the Irish Wildlife Association, Inland Fisheries Ireland, you have Board Penala, right? You have Cork County Council, Irish Water, right? You have they're all involved, right? So there's too many agencies, and there's nobody calling the shots.
Fuck.
There's a problem here. But the Irish Wildlife said, look, the weir is working perfectly the way it is, because now the salmon can just come up and go up the inside of the wall by the gas station and just fly up the river and happy.
It looks horrible.
Yeah, but it's not, the salmon were getting up all the time, like, all the time. I'll talk about that now in a minute. They're getting up, the weir was 200 years old, right? And as I said out in Brussels to the Secretary General of the Environment, I said to him, the weir is there 200 years. So the salmon, as you know, go upriver and they spawn and they go out to sea and come back. Everybody knows that. But I said, if they weren't able to get up there, like the Irish Wildlife are saying they can't get up, the weir is stopping them, how would they reproduce for the last 200 years? I said, did they get the bus up from y'all up there? And he started laughing. He fucking started laughing out in Brussels.
But how many times have you seen it in your time in Fermoy? That you'd be going over the bridge someday and there'd be crowds of people stopped
watching the
salmon going up the ladder and taking photos.
Some drop, but that happens in the natural environment as well, where there's a natural waterfall, right?
Yeah.
And there's rocks and there's trees hanging off the side of them. Salmon jump, they clock themselves off the tree or the rock and fall back down. But 90% of them will get up, if not more. They will get up, right? Now some die of exhaustion or injuries, and some are taken by predators. But mostly the weaker fish are taken by predators.
Yeah, the old and weak.
They're weaker ones, and that's good for the DNA of the fish.
Well, that's nature.
That's nature at its best.
It's vicious, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But all these different agencies in there. So now they're going to build a new fish pass now, going up the left hand side of the weir, right? Going through the triangular field and up about 100 yards up on the right.
Right.
On the north bank, right? And again, it's going to be like the one in Bandon. It's about fucking 30 feet wide, like. And I said, there's like the fucking Panama Canal in Fermoy. I said, the fish won't go up it. They're going to rebuild the weir and put this fish pass on the left hand side if you're looking downriver, right?
Yeah.
On the right hand side if you're looking upriver. And I guarantee you, smaller fish now will go up to fish pass because it'll be nice and handy for them, you know. But the salmon will go back. They'll go straight to the middle of the weir again. Now they are putting a small little fish pass in the middle, but all the fish will go to that. Very few will go up. A smaller fish might go up this fish pass thing. They don't know it. They haven't got the fucking echo sounder on. It doesn't come into their map.
Yeah.
They know. They travel with.
But it's like it's already imprinted in them where they're going.
They're going back to where they were born.
Yeah.
And they'll take the same path as they came down.
So what genius decided that this is new?
But that's in on helping the migrating fish. But see, it's not just salmon migrate. There's eels and there's Alice Chad, which there's no fucking Alice Chad in the Blackwater. And this end there is in the lower halves, but they don't come up to Fermoy anyway. But the thing now is that all the public money spent on consultations, right, and surveys will have to be done again now next year. So there'll be another 200,000 or 300,000.
Look,
the weir now started off at about a cost of about 2 million, including surveys. Now it has gone to 5. But
how is that fucking possible?
But no, you see, that's not counting what they have already spent in the last 9-10 years in surveys, because that all costs money. And it'll have to be done again now.
doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist or a...
Because if the work don't start within a certain time scale, then they have to go back and do the surveys again.
I don't know. It sounds to me like they're just trying to justify many jobs that are really unnecessary.
No, it's public money. It's public money, and the public servants are fucking robbing their own public money.
Yeah.
These guys. The public servants in this country are totally out of control. They're not accountable to nobody. They're not answerable to nobody. And they just bloody spend what they like.
They're like a mob.
Irish Water was formed, as you know, when Cork County Council lost the water, they formed Irish Water. And the senior engineers that were with Cork County Council, they left, right? They resigned, right? So they got a massive pension and a massive payoff from Cork County Council, and a handshake, like golden handshake. But they formed the consultant firm then for Irish Water. So when Irish Water wants a consultant done in the weir, they're hiring these fellas and they're charging them colossal money to do the surveys. But these are all mostly ex-council workers, engineers.
Yeah.
So they have their council massive pension, they have their payoff, and now they're robbing the fucking public money again.
Just probably regurgitating the...
She just came around the corner and put the hand back out again. And there's nobody had been held accountable. Nobody's been held accountable.
There's a lot of that around in the country, for some time. Zero accountability.
But
zero responsibility.
I have Friday that Lord Mountbatten's fucking nephew, grandnephew, or nephew, whatever, grandnephew, I'd say. He left a bit of land in a house above in Galway to the Inland Fisheries Island. They gave it to the government, and the government gave it to Inland Fisheries Island. The house is on the river. Right, so IFI sell permits for fishing, salmon fishing up to etc. in the Galway weir and everything else. And so this beautiful 5-bedroom Georgian house, and the atrium at the front of it. So they turned the atrium into an office for Inland Fisheries Ireland, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a husband and wife team working with Inland Fisheries. They take control of the house and the office, right? Well, the office wasn't supposed to be taking control of the house, right? So they were selling permits and giving out maps and a bit of a tourist thing as well for fishing in the area up there. But they kind of got bored then, you see. So there was 5 or 6 bedrooms up in the house. So they renovated the bedrooms, right? Just cleaned them up basically.
Yeah. And
they were doing Airbnb, cash Airbnb.
And who gets the cash?
They were keeping it. But what happened was, Inland Fisheries Ireland was sending. There was a team going around the country checking. All government departments were being checked one by one, but this time it was IFI being checked. So this group of investigators going around checking, they're doing their job, whatever.
Yeah.
Like. Times in motion, guys, whatever you're going to call them. Like. So they couldn't get a fucking place to stay in near Galway, whatever part they were, like. But they found this Airbnb, so they stayed there. And when they arrived there, they discovered that they were actually staying in their own fucking department's fucking property.
Fuck.
So the boys got caught.
But the neck on them, man.
But they were doing it for 2.5 years. So they had the cash for 2.5 years from an Airbnb. And nothing happened to them. They just got moved.
They're as bad as a church.
They're all at it.
Look at RTE. RTE are... It's like... I think what went down there with RTE is pretty indicative of what's going on with all these organisations. It's fucking laughable, man. But at the same time, you're not surprised, are you? When you hear these, you're like, first of all, it's probably disappointment more than anything. Like, really? Come on, fucking total line, guys.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no accountability for public money, like, and there's no one being held responsible for it, and there's nobody being called in, nobody being questioned, and it's just absolutely crazy, like. I mean, the salmon were gone over from my weir for over 200 years. But there was a couple of times there was problems, right? There was one year there was an awful lot of fish trapped below the weir. And that wasn't the fish's fault, but it wasn't. Again, it was down to from my town council at the time. They owned the weir at the time.
Oh, so it's owned.
Oh, it is owned.
Who owns it now?
Cork County Council owned it. And they're responsible for it. But the time there was a big hullabaloo over the salmon being trapped there was the fish patch fell into such disrepair, right? there was slabs of stone coming down the fish pass itself, you know, just like a funnel down there. But the trees were hitting these stone, and they moved them out of place, and they knocked them into it, and so the water was not coming down properly, and there was a blockage at the bottom of it. But that's all the responsibility of from that time for my town council. They should have repaired the weir.
Yeah.
So the fish can travel up there, no problem. But they didn't. So and there was parts of it then broken as well, where the water was gushing down and hitting the front of the fish pass. So when the fish were jumping to go into it, they were blown back out again.
Yeah.
They couldn't get up it because it was damaged.
I remember when I was a kid going to school, like, you know, you'd see big trees jammed into the eyes of the bridge, and at one stage there was the corpse of a cow that got caught up in the floods.
Yeah.
And it was there for days, man.
Yeah, when the original floodgate down to the right, on the right hand side, you would see the animals, dogs,
you know what I mean?
sheep, cattle, horses, all caught there, including human bodies. But that was the council's fault that time. They just didn't care about the weir.
I don't get it, because I mean,
but it's a protected structure, you see.
It's not getting the protection it requires.
No, it was never getting the care. No, I say protection. But it's a protected structure, so therefore it can't. Like, the council would love it now to lose its protected structure, so then they wouldn't have to do anything about it.
That's the wrong attitude.
But hence it has a protected order on it. They have to rebuild it. There's no ifs or buts about it. They have to rebuild it. So the longer they're taking to do it, the more it's going to cost.
Yeah.
So they just take the finger out. I mean, last year was the perfect time to do it. We had a really dry summer. And it was the perfect time to do it.
Because I kept hearing news, they're going to
start.
And they never did.
Yeah, but see, one of the vicious circles of these people involved, these different organisations, one of them puts up their hand and says, we think there's a problem going to be with such and such thing. We better have a survey done now to verify that.
For fuck's sake, these people need a shaking, man.
Yeah. You know, somebody saw a very rare eel or a very rare bird, and he's nested in the corner of that. We can't go near that now because that bird. But we'll have to have verification if that animal or this bird exists, so that But we'll have to hold up everything until we get this checked.
I think
it goes on and on and on and on.
A vicious circle. Yeah. What's required there is one person who's got the know-how. Give them an assistant as well, okay? Just because that's how good I am. And let them go to all these people and just fucking get rid of the deadwood. Yeah. Give them the authority to get rid of the deadwood and the responsibility with a deadline.
This is what they've done in the UK. And it's working superbly for them over in the UK.
It should be results-based.
They love their rivers and lakes in the UK. Like, they actually love them. And angling is a key business on all rivers over there. But they take care of the rivers. But they appoint bodies to be in charge of say the Blackwater.
Yeah.
And say the rivers in Munster. There's one body appointed to be responsible for everything inside them.
Yeah.
Everyone that puts a boat in it, everything that goes fishing in it, everything involved in the river. Kayaks, triathlons, everything, one body is looking after it.
Yeah.
That one body has one shout, and he's only answerable then to the minister.
Yeah.
But here we have too many.
Way too many. Fucking around.
And they're going around. Now, I was above in the Dáil, waiting to go in as a witness in the House of Oireachtas for a hearing regarding the weir, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was with Donald O'Keefe, the reporter from the Examiner, and Donald is
local,
but he's also a good man, he's for the weir as well, to be rebuilt. But he was there as a reporter. I was there, and I couldn't open my mouth. But I was listening to all these governmental bodies being questioned by RTDs, right? And the amount of lies that were told inside in the House of Oireachtas was absolutely disgraceful.
That's just commonplace, really.
But before they went in, I did not sit on the benches directly outside, let's say courtroom number 1,
Yeah.
I didn't sit on the benches outside there. I went over to number 3 room and I sat on the bench over there. Because I was watching who was coming down the stairs. Cork County Council representative, Inland Fisheries Ireland representative, the Irish Wildlife Trust representative, Irish Water representative. So I could see all these CEOs and these high honchos coming down, public servants, right? and they're shaking hands with each other and laughing.
Yeah.
And the biggest joke on that day was, who's paying for all this? Who's going to be paying for the weir? I think he should pay for it. No. He should pay for it.
Who's paying for our accommodation?
And they were like making a joke of the whole thing. Like. And they went in then, they said that the pile driving that happened along, by the Garda station along on East Crowley Quay, that the pile driving had no effect on the weir. Now, there was a house being built 500 yards up the hill in the back of Greenhill, and the pile driving in the weir damaged the house.
Really?
Yes, it damaged the concrete structure because it was setting and it was dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing. And what happened is when they were pile driving, they said, by the way, they were 25 yards away from the weir. 25 yards away down on East Crowley Quay. Right, from the weir. I mean, it was only 25 feet. But everyone could see the weir was jumping when they were pile driving. So they loosened all the stones in the weir, hundreds of years setting, and the structure was actually turned into fucking pulp from the pile driving. So when they finished, they went away and shook hands, got paid, stuck a kayak or a canoe or a rowing boat made of aluminium inside the fucking town park in the triangular field. That was a present to the Fermoy people.
What is that about? That's the ugliest fucking thing ever.
But that was a present to the Fermoy people from Lagan, right?
That's what that was.
Well, that's exactly it. Stick it up in the air. That's
finger to the fucking people.
Fuck ye.
Yeah.
Thanks for your money. Good luck.
Yeah.
They destroyed the weir. But they must have known they were going to destroy the weir. So they must have told the town council and Cork County Council, we're going to damage the weir here with the pile driving. But they did. There was a suggestion of the weir being rebuilt with the project. Part of the project. And it should have been done.
Yeah.
Because they fucked it anyway by leaving it. But then Cork County Council decided that it's a protected structure, so we have to rebuild it. But the only way removing this protected structure order on the weir is, if it gets washed away, then it's not protected anymore because it's gone.
That's just fucking...
So then we won't have to pay for it. So that's why they left it. They left it in the hope it would wash away. And,
but you know...
And it hasn't washed away. X amount of it has washed away, but not the structure of the weir is still there, and quite visibly 90% of it.
Oh yeah.
And there's nothing more of it going to move. Maybe the odd one or two stones.
The weight of that limestone, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, you see, they were hoping to be washed away. But these are the engineers we're dealing with in Cork County Council. Half of them, they only got a Lego set for Christmas, and then they end up with a fucking top job in Cork County Council.
That's who you know, as you know. But the long-term local businesses, family inherited businesses and stuff in Fermoy. Would you think it'd be in their interest to fucking make this thing happen? Because if you think, I can remember back again, and I was only saying it to Noel McCarthy when he was in, when I was younger, all down Barn End from outside the Grand Hotel, you'd every kind of nationality over, tourists fishing the river.
Sorry.
I mean, it was chocker, Kipper. Chocker.
But they had the places they didn't do, you see. There was 2 hotels in the town that time.
But that's what it should be today.
Yeah. I mean, look, we have the course anglers still coming to Fermoy after 50, 60 years, right? There's guys still coming to Fermoy, and they've been coming there over 50 years. Right?
Yeah.
I know them. I work with them when they're here, as a volunteer, using the boat to bring their gear up and down the river, etc. Because they're too, I know.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of them are passing away, like. We've no B&Bs, we've no hotel.
No, it's a fucking disgrace.
We have the town square, Ray Murphy's Airbnb.
That looks awful lately. I don't be in or around, but I was over there last week.
Are we live, no?
Yeah, I was over there last week, right, and it just looks fucking... There's no soul there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's no place to stay. Like, I mean, the anglers now numbers have dwindled like from 140 to 100, and in the last 10 years now they're down to 40 or 50, and now they're down to in the 20 mark.
Fuck.
And before they were pulling straws over in the UK, pulling straws to come over here. Like, there were so many wanting to come, like. And there's still a lot of them want to come, but they can't come. They find it easier to go to Inniscarra, right? Because there's more accommodation there, and they have but they still love Fermoy.
But it's such a picturesque, lovely town. And if they just fucking kept it, it's easier to maintain something than to fix something.
Yeah.
Once it's fucked up from neglect.
Well, you see, the water situation is the rivers have to be looked after.
100% they
and,
do.
and they're totally, utterly ignoring them. You know.
Our whole childhood was on the river in the summers.
Look, we have children swimming. This year, we had the first really hot weather in May, right? Really hot. So we had the kids coming out from schools, and they were jumping in, bloody in, swimming after school. You know, in the school break, even they were inside there swimming, right? And now there's raw sodas coming down on top of them now.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it being highlighted by anyone.
When they had children on the boat fishing up river, like, and they say, "Kipper, what's the smell?" And then when you get the smell, like, and it's not agricultural waste. This is human waste, like.
No, look, why is there no one fucking, rallying around this cause?
Well, I've asked the EPA now to send up a representative to me, and they've advised me now to give definite evidence of what's happening, like. But I'll be on to the Cork County Council now next week to send someone down. But I want to go up and show them where this is, like. Not for me to tell them where it is, and they go up and they do some cover-up job.
Yeah.
I want to show them where it is, and then when they tell me it's fixed, I'm going to go up and check it. Right?
Maybe we should do like a documentary, a video documentary.
Well, you want to see this?
Put it all over social media. Put some pressure on them.
This is foul, like.
Well, you've done all the research. You've got all the facts.
I can show you 3 areas in my town.
Here, you show me, and I'll record it, and you can do. I have
no problem.
Job.
But I'm going to contact Cork County Council now next week, and tell them I want someone to meet me, and I'm not going to give them the location. I'm going to tell them it's in Fermoy, it's upriver, and I'm going to ask for a representative to come meet me, and I'm going to bring up and say, "This is it's the problem."
Yeah.
And they don't even have to take samples. You can see it.
Yeah.
And this is where the problem is. Now sort it out. Now they get huge fines from Europe if they don't fix this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, look,
huge fines.
It's sad that you need such.
You know, from my town council has already fined big money for the storage plant. Right?
No.
The storage plant overflowed in the floods and just poured into the river. And they said they had the problem fixed, and the investigators from the EU said they knew that they didn't have it fixed. So the public service told them lies, but they got a huge fine for it.
That's all.
I mean, they got a huge fine, like, they're talking hundreds of thousands. I mean, in all fairness,
it's fucking.
But that's public money again. I should it's alright. There's only public money.
Because when me and the brother and the gang go kayaking down by the viaduct, it's unbelievable. It's like, I'm like, why is this not like? You think someone with a brain, because that's not me, but someone with a brain would say, you know what? There's an opportunity here for the summer months at least to fucking have some kayaking thing on this stretch of river, because it's perfect for it.
But I mean, you have a woodland up there. You have Castlehyde woodland, right? That's a massive woodland. Like, there's 25 acres of natural historic woodland.
Really?
Yeah. So can you imagine the amount of nature that's harbouring, like, including or invading black herons.
Yeah.
And there's a massive array of nature up there, like. But you can't have the fucking water being contaminated.
No.
Now, agriculture has a big factor on it as well, like. I mean, I know that you see on the news there lately. Now, our farmers are going to have to cull in cattle after Christmas.
Well, I think that's a huge fucking bullshit.
Well, they've been told by the EU now to cut down on their nitrates.
The EU should be told to fuck off.
Well, hang on a minute. No, you see, this is where I'm coming back to the rivers, eh?
Right.
Our rivers, the quality of our water in the rivers is declining by 10% every year, annually, right?
Right.
Because of the nitrates coming into the water. And the reason the nitrates are coming into the water is the farmers want the grass to grow quicker. So they put nitrates on the grassland, to make the grass grow quicker, so the cows can eat it and grow fatter, and the beef can eat it and grow fatter. So it's just a machine. Right?
Well, the easy option there is just cancel that nitrate you're talking about.
Well, you see.
Do it the old-fashioned way, whatever way that was.
Well,
it worked then.
It did. It did. But there's a simple answer to it, but see, the farmers are not. See, the problem we have here in this country with the Green Party and with the EU and everything else, like, oh, you have to do this now next spring, and if you don't do this, what we're going to do? End of.
Yeah, Gestapo.
There's no. Look, you're going to have to do this, but look, there's a way around it.
Yeah.
And the way, all because they want the nitrates reduced going into the river, right?
Yeah.
But there's another way of doing it. Any farmer with cattle along the lands and the rivers in our country, which is an awful lot of areas now, right? They can come so many metres in from the bank of the river, right?
I would have thought that would be common sense.
Yeah, well, they do that too. They fence it off. But the easiest way to cut down the nitrates is plant rapeseed. You know the yellow.
Yeah.
So if they planted 25 metres or 20 metres of rapeseed along the river borders.
Yeah.
Imagine flying into Ireland, you see the beautiful rivers.
Yeah.
And they all have yellow borders. Right, and then make money from the rapeseed oil. Actually, you can, if they want to be totally green, you can run agricultural machinery on rapeseed oil, right?
Yeah.
So you could have young farmers turning the whole farm green, and it would be fabulous. But the thing is, my problem is to cut down the nitrates get it into the river, which is damaging the whole ecosystem and killing fish, etc., etc. But the rapeseed absorbs the excess nitrate before it gets into the river.
Gotcha.
So the rapeseed is eating the fucking nitrates to grow. The farmer can sell the rapeseed to make money.
Yeah.
Right? And he probably wouldn't have to cut back his herd by much.
But
and then you'd have the rivers becoming cleaner.
Yeah.
You'd have the farmers an extra income. Right? And we'd have pure Irish rapeseed oil, which is very good to cook with too, by the way. So there's the answer to solve the nitrate problem. But there's no one
pushing that.
Yeah, well, no, they're going to come in bully by taxes. This is going to happen, like. We're going to have mountains of beef now in January and February, like, because they'll have to reduce their herds. Like.
I don't know if that will actually come to pass, will it?
Oh, it will come to pass.
I'm sure there's wasn't there a political party formed by a farming organisation?
Oh yeah,
and they had some victory somewhere.
They didn't succeed with this. This is going ahead. This is happening, like.
I think there's a lot.
No, this is going to happen, and believe me. There's going to be beef coming out of fucking ears after Christmas. We'll have a massive...
What farmer do you know in the Fermoy area who'd have this situation that he'd have to deal with? That would be...
I know plenty of them.
One that who might be willing to come in for a chat, like?
The farmer side of it.
Yeah.
I could ask, but may not. Like.
It's not like, you're just saying, look, so what have you been doing to educate yourself on the matters? Not?
See, they have, I'm not a farmer either, but I know what's happening with the land, like. I know they're spreading fertilizer on the land to increase the nitrate to make the grass grow quicker, to feed the cattle.
That's all. That's kind of after. Why are they doing this is the thing. Aside from well, obviously it'll make everything, but why aren't they doing the other thing? That's what I'd like to ask them.
Maybe they weren't told. Maybe it's not economically beneficial to them. I don't know.
You know that Jeremy Clarkson guy, the Top Gear. He went and he's got a show on about farm. I only saw season 1. I keep meaning to catch up with him, but he threw a spotlight on the whole lot of all this kind of stuff. Alright, he kind of fumbled his way to things, but the end result was beneficial for everybody.
Yeah.
I know farmers all across England they're like, he's championing their cause.
But the farmers in England seem to be able to do what they're told. And they work together. But over here, I don't know what's happening. I mean, the farmers here, they have their own IFA, Irish Farmers Association. They're very powerful. But they're not powerful enough for the EU. The EU has made this law, and the law is going into force. They challenged it, but they lost.
Come on, can I ask you something about the EU, Kip?
Yeah.
You're better read than I, because I'm not. I've opened books around the house for the last 5 months. I haven't looked at them. But what is the probability of Ireland leaving the EU in the near future?
Not a chance, because
money.
Yeah, our agriculture system.
We're going to just sell our soul, or we already have, I suspect.
We sold our soul already. We sold all our fishing. Our fishing is nearly.
That was my next question. Yeah.
I mean, part of the Brexit agreement with England, fishing was a very sticky point, and right, the fishing rights around our coasts, etc. But our quotas, the fish, you see when the Irish cod quota has dropped from 25% down to 5%, and you'll be saying like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, what's that? What? All these quotas are designed from the very start, and what happened from the very start was our Irish fishermen, who are now kind of obsolete and nearly extinct, they didn't tell the truth. They were asked how much fish they were catching during the year, and they never gave right figures. But they did give some figures. So what happened is when the EU then decided they were going to give out these quotas to all the countries in Europe. Now remember, all these other countries in Europe can come fish in our waters, but they've been given a quota for how much fish they can catch in our waters. So the Irish fella was in, if he said he was only catching 5 tons of cod for the year, right? So okay, he was catching 5 tons up in Galway there. So let's give him his 5 tons, that's grand. The guy from Spain was catching 45 tons in Spanish waters, but the cod stocks there are whiting stocks or whatever is wiped out now. So let's give him the 45 tons off the Irish coast. So they just gave, but the Spanish told the truth, and the Portuguese told the truth of what they were catching. So they were getting added, they got more fish out of Ireland. And the parts of the Brexit deal then were herring, right? The herring off our west coast of Ireland, the south west coast especially, massive in October, November, right? This time of the year, like.
Yeah.
Huge herring stocks there, right? We now have 1%. The Irish fishermen now have 1% of all the fish that's inside the Irish water. 99% was given to the English as part of the Brexit agreement.
Why?
They gave them 99% of our herring catch. So the English trawlers now come in and take 99% of our herring stocks.
Who fucking lets this happen?
Our government.
Well, they've never been fucking... In my lifetime, they've been no good government.
They gave 99% to the UK as part of the Brexit agreement.
That's surely some kind of treason, is it?
So you have trawlers that make a lot of money in the herring in November, right?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they can't make any money on it because it's not worth their while to go out and get the amount, the 1% miserably figure. It doesn't pay them to go out.
No.
So that's why the boats are up for sale.
For fuck's sake.
You see the boat that was using the drug thing there right, recently. That was bought in Castletown Bay for 50 or 60 grand. Now your man will get paid for the boat in Castletown Bay. Like.
Sure, the
but the boat's been confiscated. He's got fuck all to do with him. Like. But,
it's not like he's running drugs.
But I mean, he'd have made that on herring if we had a decent quota. Like. He'd have made that kind of money on herring. Like.
And for the likes of me and you know, you know, we live in and around the Fermoy area.
Yeah.
Say comes whatever time in the year you can go fishing in the river.
Yeah.
Can I just go get a rod and go fishing in the river, or do I have to go?
You can, but some of us regard as free fishing, like, but you have to have a license for salmon, right? You come back into fishing quarters. This is hilarious in the Blackwater, like. You have people saying like, we need to do this, we need to protect the salmon, we need to do this, we need to do that, and you have businesses down river the Blackwater, like you have fishing coaches, you have fishing lodges, you know, and there's permits people and there's people employed. So it's an employment industry as well, the angling industry. Now they're under fierce pressure because of the salmon stocks have been diminished, right? And you have people downriver now that have these businesses are complaining that they need help in promoting, let's get the salmon protected. And right at their own doorstep, you have the Duke of Devonshire's men down there netting salmon coming into our river Blackwater. They're inside in the river netting salmon. Right, because they're allowed to do it.
Why are they allowed to do that?
In Cappoquin and Lismore. So you have several.
It's his land, is it? And he's
no,
got the
no.
rights.
Well, no. You see what happened is they paid them off 20 years ago. They bought out all the licenses and paid them off, and they got a big handshake, right?
Fucking
but then,
greedy cunts.
Then a couple of them sat together with a couple of barristers from Dublin, and they decided, hang on a minute, this was our heritage, our traditional rights to fish with our nets. So they challenged the Irish government to say, look, we're going to challenge you and bring you all the way to the European Court of Human Rights because this is our traditional rights and you've taken them away from us. And they didn't even challenge it. They just gave them back the licenses. So you have fellas downriver then saying, Fermoy weir should stay the way it is. Fermoy weir should be gone because it will protect the salmon going up and there'd be no more salmon injured or killed at the Fermoy weir.
Fucking idiots.
And yet, how can the salmon that come over from my weir, going out to sea to fatten to come back, they always come back, how can they come back if there's fucking nets below in Cappoquin and there's more waiting for them?
Yeah.
And now they've even got so selective down there, they're using these drones to film the salmon coming in off the tide. And if there's not big salmon in the shoals coming in, they don't shoot the nets. They let the small fish go through. It's when the big fish are coming in, they put out the nets. So not only are they raising havoc on the stocks of the salmon on the River Blackwater, they're actually taking out the large fish, which is reducing the DNA of the large fish.
Fuck's sake.
In the breeding process. There should be no nets. There's no nets in Europe in any river for salmon except in fucking Paddyland, in the Republic of Ireland.
Banana Republic.
And the answer you get then from anyone connected to the Duke of Devonshire below, by the way, my feelings on the Lismore Castle is it belongs to the people of Ireland. They came in and took that from the Fitzgeralds under gunpoint.
Yeah.
Right? So they stole it. Carysville was given to Mr. Spud, Walter Raleigh. Right? So Walter Raleigh was given the land down around Yard and all the way up, and he actually got Clandelan House, and he got the land surrounded, right?
Yeah.
And Walter Raleigh went a bit loopy to loop, smoking pot and drinking whatever he was doing.
But you can't blame the pot. That's genetic loopy loop.
But
the pot just eased his mind.
He was bankrupt anyway. So, but he sold Clandelan House, Clandelan weir, fishing, and the house, the whole lot to the Duke of Devonshire for £100.
Fuck.
So,
just a change reaction is stupid.
These guys that are netting the salmon down river, they're one of my youngsters that I take fishing challenged them. I told them where this happening. You can actually walk. You can park, and in the car park there's a picnic area coming into Cappoquin,
right
on the right hand side, after you on the Lismore Road. And you can park there. There's a picnic area.
Yeah.
And then there's a walkway up the river. It's a loop. You can walk the river.
Okay.
And you can see these guys netting the fish in the middle of the river, right? And one of my young fellas that I take fishing asked him why they're netting the salmon. He said, "This is very wrong. You're netting no salmon. And you're not giving the salmon a chance." And this old fella in the boat told him, "If we don't do it, somebody else will do it. And what's it got to do with you?" And the young fella, being well educated by Mr. Kipper, he said to him, "Well, I fish for them upriver, and they're all salmon. Actually, these salmon are bred mostly in Cork, and this is Waterford, so you shouldn't be taking them at all." and he said, "There's nobody else netting salmon in the whole wide world inside rivers except ye." And he said, "That's it." And the young fellow watched boxes of fish being taken off the boat, boxes of salmon, like. And the young fellow was disgusted. He was horrified to see the amount of salmon.
Sure, you don't even have authorities that you can go to and expect something to be done about it, because nothing will be done about it.
Oh no! But look, it's
all above board in some regard or another.
It is all above board, like. But I was part of a campaign years and years ago to save our salmon. SOS it was called, and it went countrywide, and we were successful. We got the nets bought out. Now there's parts of Kerry as well. They just totally ignored. They were deaf. You can't net the river. And they were filmed it all by RT, right? Netting in the dark. They didn't give a shit, like. But you can only do so much of it until the rivers, the salmon are just gone.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't put them back, like.
But regards to fishing, just, once a month you go fishing for peace of mind. If you get something big enough, bring it home.
Yeah, we're along by the Grand Hotel, along that area. Still.
And where do you have to go for our licence then?
Well, funny enough, that's funny in Fermoy, like. There's a friend of mine now operating a little tackle shop now just aside from her garage, and she'll be selling the license I think next year.
Is that the one up on Cardiac Hill? No,
it's on the way out Mount Rivers, Kilworth, on the way out the back road from Fermoy out to Kilworth.
All right.
And she's selling some tackle as well, which is handy. But you get your salmon license now in Fermoy, you have to go to the men's clothes shop in the middle of Patrick Street. They sell salmon licenses.
It's fucking Irish, isn't it?
No, nobody knows. Well, except for the people who buy salmon licenses every year.
Yeah.
Goes to the men's clothes shop to buy the salmon license.
Men's clothes. Who's
opposite Walsh's? What do you call that men's clothes shop there?
Is that opposite Walsh's?
Yeah.
Shaw's.
No. They're adjacent to it, opposite.
Hennessy? Or not Hennessy. It is Hennessy, is it?
No. And actually, I'll be shocked for not remembering the name, but that's where you have to go off your salmon laces into the men's. Well, they send women's clothes as well there. It's next to Deals.
Hickeys,
yeah. Hickeys.
Fuck off.
Yeah. So if you want your salmon lace, you went to Hickeys and get it.
And why is that the case? Did they have something to do with remember the shop that was at the corner there once upon a time?
I think the family one of the families are members of the Fermoy Salmon Anglers Association. So they had a facility which is a shop in the country, but they've been selling the laces for long time now. But it's grand. But it's kind of funny, like, where do I get a salmon license? I have to go to the men's clothes shop up the town.
Buy a shirt while you're in there.
Hopefully you might buy a pair of shoes as you go in there as well. But,
so Hickeys is where I go to get a license. And how much does the license cost? And just for your average, just go fishing in the river.
For salmon?
For everything. Whatever you catch that's good enough to eat.
Well, if you want to fish for everything you want to eat, you have to have a salmon license because you would catch salmon with one rod. You can catch a trout, you can catch a roach, you can catch a salmon, but you can catch the salmon as well. Yeah, it's €65 a year for the salmon license. Now, juvenile is only €12, I think, or 10 or something, which is fantastic.
It should be free, really.
Well, it should be.
Talk about native fucking...
Yeah, it should be free too, yeah.
Get them hooked, literally.
Yeah.
As a young man, or girl even, and when they come of age then...
Yeah, I think it's great value anyway.
They have the experience and they know what it is to them.
Yeah.
And it's easier for them to go get a summer job and pay for their fucking license.
But it's very hard to get juveniles in the country
to do anything.
To do anything. But when you tell them they have to spend €10 for a license to go salmon fishing, and they do, and they go salmon fishing, and now some of the kids I brought fishing through my tuition, they have caught salmon, right? But this year we had a total disaster. I had a total disaster this year. I had only one salmon caught this year. I lost another one. One of the young fellas with me had one on and he lost him as well. And he was so upset. It was unreal. Like. But he knows now like that he's spending €10 a year to go fishing. And all the time that he puts into it, and he loves fishing. Like. But then he goes down to Cappoquin and see these guys with nets. Like. What's going through this young fella's mind? Like? Why am I giving
an education?
Why am I giving the Irish government €10 for a fishing licence? And they're letting this guy down in Cappoquin net the salmon. Well,
that's life.
You know?
Unfortunately.
Well, it's not life. It's the government. It's all government.
Exactly.
They have no interest. I don't know what's wrong with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. They must have got fish bones stuck in their fucking throats when they were kids. Because they don't like our fucking sea fishing. They don't like our rivers. They don't like our lake. They don't like fucking fishing at all.
They don't even like our people. What are you talking about? They're fucking attached.
They're totally fucking anti-fishing.
They just want to be seen looking good and looking like good people.
But you must remember our government is made up of a lot of farmers, right? And a lot of school teachers.
Well, okay? School teachers shouldn't be allowed near the fucking thing.
And there's a few doctors in there.
No, what you need in there is a successful businessman.
Well,
because the government is basically a CEO of the fucking economy.
Well, they are successful. They're their own CEOs, for their own pockets.
You should be... I measure success by... how well have you accommodated, we'll say, the public's potential to be the best that they can be? What's the infrastructure? Right. Have you taxed them to that? Have you been reasonable? Have you been fair?
I tell you
none of these things are happening.
I tell you something for nothing now. My campaign next year in the next elections is I'll be telling people, do not, under no circumstances, vote for the Green Party. We don't...
Delete.
Delete.
Fucking delete.
Our country...
They're an extremist outfit, man.
I mean, last week he comes out with, we're going to tax all the Jeeps now with diesel. There's going to be an extra tax on them. Right? And he drives one himself.
Father Jack.
He drives a fucking... a Volkswagen van fucking binny busting... diesel.
He's jetting over to Qatar there. I know he's coming back, and then he's come back over again for some vote of confidence in the young lady.
The Minister for Justice, yeah.
Well, let's be fair, in any other fucking business, her performance record would be enough to have her removed from
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. But I mean,
I hate the fact that I've gotten back into figuring out what's going on with politics in this country because it's just depressing.
How many times were they up in the dial with meetings with ministers, various ministers, regarding the way it's just phenomenal. The amount of times I was up there. As a matter of fact, the security on the gates of the dial. Do you know what they were calling me? Here's Corky. That's what they were calling me. Here's Corky. Oh, look at Corky, man. And I actually went in one day. I had no security badge on me. This is gospel truth, like. The boys waved me and signed that. Go on. So I went away in. So I know my place around. I know my way around the dial. And so I went in. So I said I'd go to the cafe to the left hand side. I went into the cafe and I met Pat Buckley, Sinn Féin TD. I met him for a few minutes. I ran away from Norris.
He's in the what is it? The Senators thing, is it?
He was spitting soup at me anyway.
He's a character though, isn't he?
Yeah. He came over anyway, and I told him I was up in Fermoy, and of course he's the president of the James Joyce.
That's right, yeah.
And of course that's where the wheelie board is in Fermoy. Joyce is Boreen, like.
All right.
Because you do know James Joyce's parents lived in the bungalow down the lane there, like.
I thought it was his grandparents.
No, the parents, and they left.
But his granddad a bit of a rebel. Wasn't he tormenting?
No, his dad used to smoke fucking pot. No, not pot. Opium on the weekends and drink whiskey, and then hop into his boat, go downtown, and try set fire to the shops in town that were supplying the British Army. Which was probably fucking the whole lot of them. But yeah, then the head of the British Army moved in next door to him, so he moved out. Then obviously he had to move out because he was a
outnumbered.
He didn't like it. So he went to Cork then, and she was pregnant, and they moved up to Dublin because they didn't like Cork either. And James Joyce was born in Dublin. But if your man didn't move in next door to parents out in Joyce's Boreen, then James Joyce would have been born in Fermoy. Pity. But
I don't know. I think that he's a bit overrated.
Okay. But anyway, they weren't fucking robbing the fish from the river anyway. That's the main thing, or polluting it. But I mean, this is a joke. I mean, I was arguing with the minister about that one. And Kevin O'Keefe worked hard for us regarding the way I know, you know. And a lot of people say different things about Kevin, but I tell you, Kevin, once you give him an idea and you present it to him properly, and he knows you're right, he was right in our corner to get that way done, you know.
Look, it's commonplace. There's loads of smart people in the world, way smarter than you and I. But they'll do fuck all with it. They'll go on social media and they'll point fingers and mockery at those who are having an emotional outrage and trying to connect with all our people and say, can we do something about something? And instead of them getting involved when they have probably a superior intellect and getting off their dumb ass to do something about it, they'll snipe at you and those like you and that like you were just talking.
Well, I was at that meeting Monday night. I can't remember the exact minister because I met so fucking many of them. It was unreal. But I was putting in my point regarding the weir, and I had a lot of homework done on it. No, you know, you'd have to like before you go up there. And of course, next to the minister then is his senior civil servant, right? So then the minister said to me, "Well," he said, "Mr. O'Donovan, do you have a degree in marine biology?" And I said, "No." I said, "I don't, Minister." I said, "I don't." I said, "I do have a third level education." I said, "In marine." I said, "But I'm a skipper." I said, "I have a skipper's ticket, you know." And I said, that is a marine third level qualification. "Oh, right," he said, "yeah." But I said, "Minister, let me just rebound that question." I said, "Do you have a degree in marine engineering?" I said, "No, you don't." He said, "No, I don't, but I am the minister." I said,
"How did that come to pass?"
I said, "You just answered my question." I said, "I'm not staying at this meeting." I said, "This is rubbish. We're getting nowhere with you." I said, "Excuse me." And I stood up. They were all looking at me stupid, and I left the room. I walked out through the dial, out the main gates, and across onto Kildare Street. I spotted the hotel where all the TDs drink. I said, "They're going in there for a pint." And Kevin O'Keefe ran across the road after me and said, "Jesus Christ, Kipper," he says, "Chris Kipper. I never heard anyone speak to a minister like that in my life." I said, "He is only a man," I said.
"That's exactly true."
He said, come back in. I was highly impressed with you." I said, "Well," I'm not going back in because I wasn't highly fucking impressed with him." So
good man.
I did. I walked out. But the time I was up there and I met Norris and Pat Buckley before I went to the house in the Raptors, I was walking around without the security tag on me, you know. And they came in to phone me. They said, Cocky, come back over here quick to the main gates. You have no security badge. You're on camera. You're walking around with no badge on you. Everyone is screaming. Who's this guy?
See all this abstract worry that they invent for themselves to bow to instead of just get on with it, lads. Do what needs to be fucking done.
Who's this guy walking around the dial as if he wants the place, eh? I mean,
Well, Kipper, you're nothing if not diligent when it comes to fucking paperwork of anything. And
yeah.
you know what I mean? You don't. You're not going to let that nonsense, that circus, fucking take your eye off the ball.
16 years now with the wheelie butts on the river in Fermoy. Right?
16 years.
16 years. How it survived is just beyond me. Like.
Your fucking will.
But I mean, it's a providing facility there for disability groups and young children and adults and the few visitors we have. And yet there's other organisations in the town, and they actually using tourism and all in their names, you know. They don't bring anyone to the town, like nobody, nothing.
I keep saying it. Look, if you have a beautiful place,
yeah,
people want to see it. They want to be in it.
Well, I love showing it to them, like. But the thing is, with the school now next year, the nature program, that should be interesting, you know.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that should be interesting, and hopefully, like they'll see what they have. The problem is, you know, from my age, they see the river going over the bridge, and people walk along Barnan and they see the beautiful swans and they see this and they see that. But there's far more to it than that, like.
Yeah.
But it's very, very, very fragile. And the last thing we want is fucking raw sewage coming into that river. And it's coming into 3 pints in Fermoy into the river, like. I mean, 3 pints. Now, 1 pint is bad enough, like, but 3 pints, like. And it's just disgraceful, like.
It is a fucking disgrace in this day and age. Any day and age. But I don't know, Kip. It's like, have you got any support in your, like, going to the council and stuff?
Well,
is there anyone rallying behind you?
You wouldn't get any. I don't need anyone to rally behind me, because I know how the clock.
No man is a fucking island. Progress is.
I know that, but I know how the clock ticks, like, and I know who if you're going to meet this fella in the council or that fella, I know you're only wasting your fucking time talking to these people, like, wasting your time whatsoever. Like. Half of these people they'll answer you back, but they don't even contact. They know. A lot of the politicians know, the junior politicians especially. They know that the public fucking system in this country is totally fucking irresponsible. They're not answerable or questionable to nobody. Nobody seems to know who's in charge of who, like.
Yeah.
How much do you need to do that? 300 here. Here's the 300,000. What do you want that for again?
Too many chefs in the kitchen. They can't cook.
I mean, you take Irish Water, right? You have the CEO of Irish Water. He's on over 250,000 a year, right? Then there's 10 leaders under him, right? Leaders under him. There's all chiefs and no Indians, by the way, in Irish Water. And they're all on over 100 grand a year, some up to 140, 150 grand a year, right? That's 10 grand a month. Okay? These guys are on. And we have a housing shortage. We have every problem in this country. Refugees coming in, taking houses. We have no houses for our own people. We have no beds for our own people, right? And you have the likes of Irish Water, right? Houses are being built, and the government said, we're going to get more houses built. They can get all the fucking houses they want built. But the problem is, we have houses now being built in Cork, and the water's not being connected to them. Right? There's one family on the radio last week, 2 married couple, 1 child. They're living in a rented accommodation. They're lucky to have the rented accommodation. The landlord has been very good to them. They also have the house finished.
And they can't
but it's not connected to the water mains.
Fucking Christ.
So they're paying their mortgage on their house and they're paying their rent on the rental property there because of Irish Water. Irish Water saying the system that the house was built on, the system they connect, it's the old system. They can't use that. There has to be a new one put in. But
surely that would have been covered in the planning procedure, no?
Yeah, but see, it's not the people who bought the houses for it. It's Irish Water has to connect it.
Yeah.
That's all part of the agreement, like. That's how it works. But they haven't got it connected. So these couple who are paying rent, high rent, and paying a high mortgage with 1 child, you know, it's ludicrous, like. So they can go in the dial and shout, we're going to have another 500 houses built here in Carrigaline, another 400 houses going up in Bannigan. They can, but there's no fucking water being connected to them, right? So what's going to happen now is Board Penal is going to refuse all plannings because they won't have any water.
Should look at fucking Middleton, like, on a floodplain practically. What happened there this year?
That would see
These things, like,
see, this is global. This is global warming, like, and people can say it is bullshit. It's not, like the amount of rainfall we had in
this year was
September, October was phenomenal. Like.
This whole year has been a fucking. It's either boiling sun or
streams turned into fucking. Like, I mean, the amount of water coming down that river was incredible. Like. I actually had people that could take on the river. If you remember, God rest them now, the people who died in that incident in Youghal in the Iron Man thing, you know.
Oh yeah.
That day actually, I had people go up the river on the Blackwater that morning, and I went down to the boat, and I had to make the boat more secure. And I actually went down and refused to take the people. I said it's just
too crazy.
It's just too dangerous.
Wild.
You know. That's my responsibility. You know, even though the boat's hiding shore, but no incidents. You know.
Oh, you have to take every precaution.
I refused to take the people that day, you know.
Rightly so.
And I met him that evening. Then I said, "Jesus Christ,
thank God."
It was very sad what happened in Youghal. I said, "Yeah." I said, "You do know the Blackwater flows into Youghal." I said. So I said, the amount of fresh water hitting the tidal water down there in that bay, I said, was phenomenal.
Speaking of water, I'm going to step out and take this.
But I'm not saying they were connected, but it didn't help, you know.
It wouldn't.
No water.
It's just that, you know, I'm out of the loop for like a long time. And I'm just wondering, like, I'm surprised kind of that things have been left decline as they have. Especially when you have the proof in the history books, not so long history I might add, that if you keep the beautiful natural environment as it was, you can make money on it. Which is good for the local economy. Yeah.
But you see, you have the likes of the Irish Wildlife Association saying that the way I know is perfect the way it is, because the fish have proper migratories coming up. Like that may be the point. I mean, they are right there, like, but if the weir is rebuilt properly, and maintained like it should be, it's a protective structure, like, then the fish have access to get up the river. There's no problem. As I said, they didn't get the fucking bus up. They were getting up for 200 years. And with the destruction of parts of the matter of fact, they're saying it's not the weir now, it's the wall coming down outside connected to the weir, right? They're trying to say that's not the weir is actually above the bridge, right? But the whole structure is one.
Yeah.
It's all one because it was used to channel water down to power the mill, in the mills below. But the bigger damage was when all that wall collapsed over the pile drive, and that was next to it, right?
Yeah.
So the water now is flowing down now. Now, the problem is that water in floods, right, is so powerful that the fish can't get through it. It's too fucking strong. Yeah. It just blows them back. They can't get through that, like. That's absolutely phenomenal speed, like. And there's no salmon will get through that, like. Not if he was talking.
So when you look at the width of the fucking river and then it comes to that.
Yeah, but the power of the water going down there when it's high. I know when it drops they'll move, or when it's rising they'll move.
Yeah.
They can move. But they can't do that either if they've been cutting fucking nets down the river. So you can't be shooting yourself in the toe at the same time, you know. They're saying, we're going to leave the weir is to protect the salmon. And yet you have, did you go them shows merry men below netting fucking salmon, like? And then you have the businesses up and down the river that rely on angling, you know, for their income.
Affected.
And they're all affected, but they're afraid to open their mouth because they're living down with these guys in the same area, like. Well, if I had a business downriver, I couldn't give a shit who my neighbour was if he was netting the river. He'd have to stop it, you know.
Right is right.
Yeah, there's barbaric, like, salmon coming into the river and then using fucking drones to distinguish the size of them. Like, I mean, stop the lights, like.
Yeah, that's bad fucking form. But so are you optimistic at all in seeing any kind of headway.
Progress on it.
Yeah.
Well,
and all of the problem.
Well, there was a good group of us together now, as went back to the original campaign of Save the Weir, like.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a big campaign, and there was a lot of dedicated people. We worked well together, you know, and we're still there, like.
Yeah.
Long before anybody else now came along afterwards and started their own campaign, like. We were, we went from A to Z with this campaign, like.
Yeah.
Then you've other people coming in now, and they're at C and D. Well, we went all the way to Z, like. The planning is supposed to go through. The money is supposed to be made available, but there's no one giving us a positive answer. All I want to know now, when is it starting? I want to see yellow machinery going into that.
And who signs off on that then to say the start date will be this?
The minister will do it.
Oh, you're fucked
up. Well, the minister will give a ministerial order, but that's what we wanted, was a ministerial order. We wanted to fucking start it. We want to see the yellow machines in there, and that's it. Right? But as I said, you have so many organisations involved, it's unreal. But at the moment, then I'm hell bent on getting that fucking pollution, that raw soda, stop going into the river. I've started work on it. I've emailed EPA and Wexford. I've emailed the man above, the anti-turf fucking minister above, Eamon Ryan. I emailed his office. In fairness to him, he gave me an answer with a new. I have a serial number, which my complaint is kept on file. Right? The EPA wants me to get back onto Cork County Council. Cork County Council wants me to be more precise and tell them exactly where the area is. But what I want now is the Cork County Council individual, fellow who knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Could be rare. But to meet me, and I'm going to bring up and say, look, there it is. No, what are you going to do about it? That's what I want. But you see, now, if I don't get an answer next week,
right,
I'm going to ask you to come along with your little camera here, and we'll go up and we'll film it.
Happily.
And then we'll put it up so all the people
will be educated.
Will be educated.
Yeah.
Because you can't have children swimming in that river.
No, you fucking can't.
With that shite coming into it. Like.
No, literally.
Literally, yeah. And young fellas on the boat with me and smelling it. What's that? Absolutely horrific, like.
Yeah.
Imagine a warm summer day, like.
Ah.
Just after the rain shower, next you get this fucking woof. I mean, just horrible, like.
That's not good.
And the saddest thing about it then is that there's no need for these people to do this, right? Because Irish Water actually do know that it's happening, like. Somebody must have told them, you know. But they do know this is happening.
Yeah.
So they've put a grant in place. There's 3,000 of a grant to get a new cesspit or whatever, put in your garden or whatever. There's $3,000 available. And there's not much more there than that. Like. So the problem can be fixed very easily. Right? There is even a 3,000 grant available. So the people that are doing this, they can avail this grant and alleviate the problem.
And how long has this problem been a problem?
Oh, it's just a couple of years now.
That's Jesus Christ.
It's a couple of years now.
There's no rhyme, no reason for that.
Sadly, the fish and the river will always tell you a story, you know?
Yeah.
So the salmon stocks are diminishing at a phenomenal rate because of the netting and because of the nitrogen hitting in the water and killing the spawn and killing the younger fish.
Yeah.
But then we have one species of fish, a roach, right? And they're getting bigger, and the stocks of Fermoy have increased, and they've also increased in size. But there's a reason behind that. It's what they eat.
What do they eat?
What we throw down the jacks.
Lovely.
So the roach population has increased, and it's only increased for one reason.
So that's the indicator.
They're living off human storage. So.
For fuck. No, you I don't know how you keep your head when you're going up against a brick wall.
But if you went up to the minister's office now and said that to the minister, the woman, the dial, the first thing he'll say to you is, "Do you have a degree in marine biology?"
But any of them are qualified to be in the office there.
But the answer is like, I'm one of the guys on the river. I'm the grassroots. I know exactly what's happening in the river.
Yeah.
He doesn't. The minister above the dial doesn't have a clue what's happening on the river. he's only relying on his public servant sitting next to him.
Yeah.
And he's going to tell him the story to make him happy and keep himself happy. And it doesn't matter, like, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael gone, if they're gone in the next government, right, which is a very strong possibility, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully the Greens will be sent back to Alaska, wherever they came from. But Sinn Féin goes into government, right, which is probably going to happen.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, look,
So
sadly, no, there's a gap left in society that leads to hunger for right-wing politics and left-wing politics, and when you leave a gap, and does the government cause the gap? Like?
Of course it is.
They cause the gap.
Incompetence.
Everybody's looking up at this government and seeing what they're doing. They don't give a shit. They're not listening to the people, yet they're making a fortune themselves.
They hate the people, I would say.
I wouldn't say they hate the people.
Well, they're barricading the fucking government buildings with military fucking towers and whatnot.
They don't hear us when it comes to voting, like. But they're causing the gaps, like. So these young people, they may not be educated, but they see it in social media. They can see, like, these guys are getting fucking hundreds of thousands a year for doing nothing. And
why should plenty. It's negative.
Why should we care about them, like? You know, and this is the gap they're causing, like, you know. And I mean, when you leave a gap in society like that, then you leave it wide open for the growth of right wing politics and you know.
I'm hearing an awful lot of this right wing this and extremist right wing that.
Well, that's what you leave when you leave a gap in society like that. Tis the government caused the gap, like. They put the gap there, like, you know. And then you're going to have riots. You're going to have squad cars set on fire. You're going to have these hooligans build up in numbers.
Emboldened.
Yeah. And then they're getting their brothers in Europe or sending them on text messages telling them how great they were. They're doing a great job. Because it's not just Ireland this problem is, like. It's right across the whole of Europe, like.
Yeah, but at least in other parts of Europe they're doing something about it now.
Well, some are. I mean, some are. Some aren't. But like, when does the Irish government actually sit down and say, okay, hang on a minute, we don't have any more beds for anybody else. Like, we don't even have beds for our own.
They don't give a fuck.
But they have to stop. You know, they have to.
Why?
Well, they can't keep going, like.
Devil's advocate, like, but why?
Are we going to have refugees on the streets? Or we have them on the streets already, like. But I mean, are we going to have them on the streets with homeless? I mean, they're better off back home ducking fucking bombs rather than be here, like.
Well, first of all, they're not the people that the people have a problem with. The people that the people seem to have a problem with are the undocumented individuals.
Undocumented, I know, it's crazy, carry on.
And along with the legal system who are just throwing, like, these people out with, look, we haven't time for you, and he's in with knife charges of some sort.
Yeah, but this guy that done the stabbing above in Dublin, like, I mean, he was being extradited, and a couple of months later he got full Irish citizenship. I mean, who's the person responsible for getting him that citizenship?
Fuck no.
This is the person that should be fucking fined and brought in front of the court, like. The guy that actually gave him, how did he get full Irish citizenship, and yet he was being deported 3 months earlier? You know, I mean, where would you?
Boggles the mind.
How did this happen? Like, this is what needs to be brought out to the public, and the public needs to be told the truth. Like,
yeah, well, about this crowd in charge.
This guy was being extradited, and then 3 months later he gets full Irish citizenship. Never walked a day in his life since he come here, like, living off the state, right, for 10 years. He's been extradited, and yet 3 months later he becomes a full Irish citizen. Who gave him the Irish citizenship? This is the person that needs to be brought.
Some fucking incompetent individual.
Well, it needs to be told who gave him this Irish citizenship.
But who's gonna back that kind of investigation anyway? They don't want you to even talk about the situation.
That's why we're part of the EU, because if they don't,
sure, the EU are part of the problem as well.
Well, they may be, but they're also part of the problem of solving it. I mean, if of course, this individual has human rights too, by the way, you know. But so does the baby that was stabbed. So does the.
There's right and wrong. You carry on this way, and there's fucking far worse things that can happen to you.
Whoever made the decision to give him full Irish citizenship is the person responsible for these stabbings in Dublin, not the individual. Because the individual shouldn't be here in the first place.
No, he shouldn't.
He should have been sent back to where he came from.
But the damage is done now, Kip.
The damage is done.
Unfortunately, and it's a fucking.
But the person that caused the damage should be held responsible.
But there's a chain reaction. I mean, people will only take so much.
Somebody signed off on him saying, right, let's give him full Irish. How in the name of God is he Syrian national? Syrian, is he? Algerian. How could an Algerian national refugee come into this country, get full citizenship after being told he's been extradited, and 3 months later he gets it? Who made this happen? Somebody made this happen, and there's a reason that made it happen. Did he become a massive? Is he going to be a massive contributor to our society all of a sudden?
He's a number that will make up a good advert for someone's political motive.
Yeah, but you see, this was politically activated, like this citizenship. Somebody signed off on it, and that politician needs to be brought to hand.
Yeah.
Because you cannot give this guy, who had a bad record in his own country, he's been extradited from this country, and then 3 months later, full citizenship. Somebody is responsible for this.
Listen, every other country in the world that you want to get into, you need to have so much paperwork, man. And you know, that's just to get there for 3 months, we'll say.
James, I landed in America in 1986, I think early 86 or late 86. I had a job. I was working on the cruise ships, right? And I had a contract in my hand. I had my valid visa and passport, right? I had job references, and I had about $1,200 in my wallet.
Yeah.
So I had a job. I had money in my pocket, and this was Wednesday. I was starting work on the Saturday morning, right? So when I arrived in Miami, all new to me, customs, immigration, going through it, I couldn't believe it. I said, Jesus, this is America. Like, there was dogs, there was armed policemen. It was all new to me, you know.
Yeah.
Went up to handed my passport to the fella behind the glass thing, and he was checking it. He said, "Okay, I stand over there." So over here, yeah. And I got nothing back off him. I just stand over against the wall. I didn't know whether to ask for my documents back or not, but I just stood by the wall. Next, these 2 other officers came up and said, "Your name, Christopher?" Yeah. So they took the documents from your man, and they walked me down a corridor and into a room. And I could see out through the glass, you know, the airport area, and people passing, people looking at you. But they handcuffed me to the chair.
What?
Yeah, there was a chair I was sitting in. They handcuffed me to the chair, right? And I remember it was a very warm day, like, Miami is warm anyway, but I could feel my hands swelling, you know?
Yeah.
I was very I knew I was never handcuffed, like, and it was very uncomfortable, like. So, I was about 10 minutes waiting before they came back. The fucking sweat was. They came in, they sat down in front of me, and they opened up this documentation. They're looking at it, next to said, "Your name is blah, blah, blah." I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Yeah. And they finished it, they stamped. One guy came over, opened up the handcuff, said, "Thank you." And off you go. So I stood up, and they said, "Welcome to America." I said, thanks, gentlemen. So which way? Out there, left, and just follow the arrows.
Yeah.
And out you go. Say thank you. This was me arriving nearly 30 years ago in America. Like. What happens when they arrive here?
Fuck off.
Are they handcuffed to the fucking chair? Are they asked who they are? Where's their passport? Where's their visa? Do you know where they came from? Because they know what airline they got off of. So they should be fucking kept there, right? Filled out an application form for whatever they want and why they're here. But they should be put on the next fucking plane back to where they came from.
Well, you were
and then tell them, you'll be hearing from us soon enough. And let the Irish government treat them the way they treat us.
Yeah.
You'll be hearing from us soon enough. Like the way from Fermoy. 10 years later we heard fuck all. So let them go back to where they came from, and let the Irish government tell them they'll contact them as soon as possible.
But even that...
treat them with the same contempt that they treat their own people with.
Yeah.
And
I'm 100% with you on
and
that.
then immigration would very, very quickly slow down.
Yeah.
Because, you know...
They've incentivized, but it's all government policy, like.
Yeah.
Which is, you know...
You don't see them queuing up to go into Hungary, do you?
No.
Yeah, they kind of shoot them there, like, by mistake.
No, look, it's, you take care of your fucking own house. Get your own house in order before you go to your neighbour and say, "Yeah, look, I'll help you with your thing."
Well, I'm telling you now, they should be handcuffed to the chair and told they're going back to where they fucking came from.
Well, I need to know who you are, what you've been doing for the last 20 years.
You'll be hearing from us very soon.
Are you likely to do anything not so nice?
Oh yeah, by the way, America, I was checked, you know, in the American embassy in London. They checked me out regarding any convictions here in Ireland, whatever. But then a few years later, I went on to Tahiti, right?
Yeah.
And like that's French Polynesia, so even though our company applies for all our visas as a block, we all get our visas, blah blah blah. We still had to have a local Garda clearance letter from our own local Garda station from where we were born in this country. So I had to get on to a sergeant friend of mine in Cork City, right, who got this beautiful letter drawn up by the superintendent, right, and they checked me, and they just said that I was known to them as a friend and a good worker, blah blah blah, and I was a loyal Irish citizen, and I do not appear to have any record, blah 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 blah, right, and I had to present that to the Polynesian.
See, I think that's as it should be, Kip.
I presented this to the Polynesian. French Polynesia, like I just 23 or 28 hours away in flight, right? By the way, there were streets ahead of us. They were only living.
Shocker.
They were only living. Some of them were only living in wooden, nice huts and banana leaves on the roof or whatever, like, and they were happy out. But they were years ahead of us. They made the Green Party proud. They had solar energy 30 years ago running the house. Solar panels.
Well, we're in a bubble, buddy.
And like, okay, they're in the area where the sun shines fucking nearly 15 hours a day, like. But I was amazed that they were so far ahead of us, regarding solar energy. But the fact of the matter is, I had to have Garda clearance from my own local Garda station to come into even though I had my visa granted, I still needed a letter from my own local Garda station. We all did. There's German guys, Austrian guys, English guys, girls.
But wouldn't that make you even feel better about the whole procedure?
Yeah.
Like,
But
at least they're thorough, at least you can get some.
It made them feel better as well, because they knew when I came down that gangway onto their soil. Like,
you're not a messer, like.
He's only half mad. He's all right, but just we don't know who's coming down the fucking gangway or the stairs off these planes.
And being fucking bussed in at night time with blacked out windows. What the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
That's like some fucking weird bad movie in Hollywood.
We just don't know who they are, like. We have no idea who they are, like.
And then you've all these increasing violent assaults on women and children. It's just, I mean, we've our own fuckers to deal with, like, Come here. It's just, where's the common sense?
It is absolutely ludicrous, like.
This is fucking Ireland.
Yeah. I mean, the Garda Commissioner's answer there to the dial the other day was just, I thought it was a bit bewildering, He said that, a lot of the Garda senior resources have been spent on gang warfare in this country and the Kinahan gang and blah, 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 and they've had massive results. They mentioned the drugs in Cork and this and that, and that's grand, like. Yeah, that's all grand, but...
So only do half your job, is that what he's saying? And give himself a pat in the back.
But you see, when you leave gaps in society, as they're talking about these politics and whatever, but these people are watching the people making loads of money and they're only laughing at them and etc. They're going to do things like dealing drugs and get caught into gang warfare because they want to make money as well.
Yeah.
Because their attitude is, why should I care about what I'm doing when they don't fucking care what they're doing?
Well, not only that,
but they know it, like.
You go out and you work fucking hard at a job and you're getting a wage that should
cover your lifestyle, like, and your family.
It should give you just a fucking basic, even. Yeah. And you could be on the best of money and you're getting fucked every which way you turn.
But what about that couple that have the house built and they have no fucking water coming into it?
No, that's fucked up.
And they're living in a rented house and they're paying a mortgage in it.
But come here, can we just fucking bring it to a realistic, optimistic endeavour? Where are we going to go? How do we fix all this shit?
Well, I'm sticking
anyway. If you think Sinn Féin are going to fix it, I think there's a bit of delusion there.
Well,
I fucking don't.
I mean, it's like buying a new car, like, I mean, which model do you take, like, I think we have to try them all at this stage.
I think
this Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, Green Party ain't working.
No,
it ain't working at all, like.
Because they're not listening to the population.
They're simply
educate themselves.
Yeah, but you see, they're not listening to the people, the politicians. They are not listening to the people.
No.
No matter what cries are coming up from the people, they're not listening to them. They're listening to the public servants, the fellas who are paid, highly paid, to tell them what's going on in the country.
And they're lying through their fucking
and
teeth.
they're lying through their fucking teeth. So they need to listen to the people and carry what the people want into the dial and implement it. But they're not doing this. They are not listening to the people. I can tell you now.
This is optimism, man, not fucking doof.
No, this is very simple now. I'll give you the likes of Micheál Martin, right?
Yeah.
Right? The writing is clear on the wall now, right? Micheál Martin. He's not going to be re-elected next time round. No way is he going to be re-elected, okay? But what he's doing now, right, is getting his new job organised. And I can see the writing on the wall. He's going around. He went to Ukraine to meet the Ukrainian president. He sympathised with him. Should he gave him a few bob over a purse, right? Right? And he's went here. He's been out in Israel. He's been out in Gaza, right? Okay, sympathising and this, that, and the other. This is all a smokescreen because his next job application will be either a top job in the human rights.
Oh, Christ.
Right? UNICEF. I'm telling you, this is where he's heading. He's heading for a big job in Europe in regards human rights, whatever. And they say he's fit for this job because he went out to Gaza, he went out to Ukraine. You know, what support can we give the Ukrainians, like, except money, like?
Did he go to the mother of that child that got stabbed and give his condolences personally? I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know whether he did or not, but I can tell you one thing, this is what he's after. He's not going to be re-elected.
Look, this is the problem with these people.
It's like Mary Robinson, you know, and she went on to be this UNICEF big leader, whatever. This is what he's after. He's after a job. He's forecasting his job because he's not going to have the same one next time round in elections. Either will Lee or Vaca. He's not going to be re-elected either. And Eamon Ryan, he needs to get a life. So optimistic. I can tell you before we go. I can't. Was it 2011 or something like that? Gormley, he was the last minister, the head of the Green Party in Ireland. Eamon Ryan took over from him. But Gormley, you remember Gormley, the grey hair for him? He was standing with me in the wheelie boat in Fermoy, right? Docked outside the youth centre on the river, Blackwater. And I was showing the mechanism for the door opening and closing because it was green energy to his hand pump, right? And he was amazed.
As long as you don't fart while you're doing it.
And he was watching this, but then he was looking over my shoulder, looking down towards the bridge, right? And he said, "Excuse me," he said, "Mr. Kipper," he said, "Who put the trees on the weir?" Right? I said, I looked up at him and I said to myself, "What a fucking gobshite." But the way I looked up at him, like, because I couldn't believe he asked me that question, like, who put the trees on the weir, like, you know, floating trees blocking the eyes, blocking the fish paths. Who put the trees on the weir? So I looked up at him, and there was a photographer there from the Irish Independent. I didn't know who he was, but he took the photograph of me looking up at him.
Yeah.
And it was on the front page of the Irish Independent the next day, right? But he didn't say what Gormley asked me. Yeah. He should have said that.
He should have.
Who put the trees on the weir? This is the guy that's in charge of the Irish environment. He's the minister for the environment, and he asked me who put the trees on the weir for my life. I mean,
and it's not like they were sitting pretty or anything. They were jammed in there.
The town council planted them.
Fucking knucklehead.
It's modern art. But my outlook. First of all, I'm going to get this pollution problem solved one way or the other in Fermoy. And if I don't get answers back in the next 10 days, I'll be on to you and we can come in with our camera and we can show the people exactly where this pollution is coming in. Now, I'm not there to offend any landowners or property owners.
Fuck that. Look, you have your facts and you have the effects of those facts. That's all you need.
The river is my where I operate. You know, it's my life. I love the angling. I love the environment. I'm not a fucking right-wing activist regarding that either. But if you're polluting the river, it has to stop.
Well, I can tell you now, you can give them first copy, the people in question, and you say, look, you can look at that and you can fix it now, or else this is going fucking everywhere.
No, it's not my job to do that.
It's not.
It is Cork County Council's job to send in the
inspector.
Get on
the phone to them. Let me know when you get on with them.
Yeah, I will be on to them. I'll be on to them tomorrow. And but the exact location I'm not going to give them until they come in and meet me. And I want them to come in and meet me so that I'll witness them. This is where the problem is. Look at it. Look at the hair now. Right?
But will they do that? No, because as soon as they do that and you show them...
If I do it the other way, I'm going to wait for them to come back to me in this way, it's going to go round and round and round and round, and that problem will be still there in 2 years' time. I want this fixed now. I want it fixed soon as possible. And it's not just up the upper part of the river. There's 2 more sections below the river, and it's coming in, raw sewage is coming in as well. And you just can't have it.
It's falling apart, man.
This day and age, you cannot have raw sewage going into it.
No, fuck, you can't.
I have children on the boat, and they can smell it. Like.
Yeah.
And just out of the blues, like, there was a rain shower, next the rain stopped, and it's very warm, like, and next the smell was beautiful. So, this is my project to get this pollution removed from the river in Fermoy. But in the meantime, I will be keeping an eye on the weir all the time. And it's up to the politicians to come back to us and tell us now where we're at. You know, and you ask your local politicians where we're at, and you get the same rigmarole from them, like, oh yeah, I was speaking to such a fella and such a fella, and I will get back to you on that now. I will get back to you on that. That's it. They never get back to you, right? Because they don't even ask the question, because they know it's not worth their while asking the question, because they'll be told, are you stupid or what? You know we're not going to fucking do that. You know, so that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get the river cleaned up anyway and get this pollution problem removed. But I'm not going to be played games with. I'm telling them now as I'm emailing them. I have all my emails saved. I'm not going to be kicked around there and stop messing me about and passing the buck. I want this fixed. Somebody has to stand up and say, I'm responsible, I'll get it done.
Would you not set up some kind of political party?
No, nobody would join with me. Because I'd have to have it done. That's it. There's no passing the buck with me, like. That's it. So that's my next project now. While still keeping an eye on what's happening with the weir all the time. Like, I mean, I have friends. There's a group of us there. Like,
yeah.
So I'm not on my own with the weir, like, but I have no problem being on my own with this pollution problem because it's so blatant that even children.
Yeah.
Imagine I'm going to be taking children up next year on a nature tour through this shite.
Literally through the shite.
Yeah. You know, I mean, if they start smelling it, like.
That's maybe it's good for their immune system. If it doesn't kill them, it'll make them stronger. Well,
it's definitely education because then they'll know that the government we have are doing nothing about anything. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there's 2 ways. I mean, look at the beautiful egret. Look at the buzzard. You know, in the sky there squealing. You know, look at the sparrowhawk. Oh, what's the smell? Oh yeah, that's the pollution coming into the river.
That's the human.
Yeah. Oh, and look at the swans. Yeah. I mean,
it's just. No, it's just.
Anyway,
it used to be a postcard picture. Now it's.
Thanks, Jamie. I know you a long time, boy, and you know that I've been on the river a long time, and that's it. It keeps me mentally sane, anyway.
Well, now I know where to go for a license for the fishing.
The clothes shop.
Because no one can fucking tell me for love of no money. So where'd you get that, boy? I don't know.
Where'd
you get one? Oh, I don't have one.
You can get a 3-piece suit and a salmon license on the one shop.
Well, I don't know about the 3-piece suit, but I'll definitely be looking to get a. And it's and can you fish then? What's the stock? Because I'm pure.
Well, outside the Grand Hotel, it's regarded as free fishing up as far as the rock.
All right.
But again, if you're fishing, it determines the rod and the gear you're using is determines what you're fishing for. I mean, you can't go out with a rod and reel and have 12-pound line and a ball of worms and tell this fishing inspector that you're fishing for trout.
And can you fish down by the viaduct?
No, it's all privately owned.
What about down by the...
She does privately owned fisheries as well. And you can't just fish there, even if you have a licence. You can buy a permit to fish there.
Well, Tom Henry, when his family had that property, he said I can fish there whenever I want, but now he doesn't have it anymore.
No, he doesn't have it anymore. That's the game anglers. And they're a nice bunch of lads, the game anglers. Tommy Lawton and company.
Yeah.
But
does the owner of the property have... Can they just go fishing there?
They can, but they can't just go fishing for salmon because they have to have a salmon licence as well, regardless of what they want.
What Michael Flatley?
He needs a salmon licence to catch a salmon as well, yeah. Michael Flatley has lovely fishery. Jesus, he has a spectacular fishery, like.
Yeah?
Yeah. And
well, you could give him the back of that house a lick of paint.
Actually,
we were going down there around the kayaks. I was like, come on.
Actually, it was painted this year because there was a film crew out there. And,
oh yeah, that's right.
And they were filming it. And they filmed us in the boat actually as well. But
was that for the movie he was making? No,
I have no idea. No.
Or some documentary probably.
But that movie, in the movie there, when he was bringing the body across the garden, he should have used the wheelie boat to bring the body up the river. It would have been some crack.
But he doesn't live there. And he's never there anymore, is he?
Oh, he's there. He'd be there on and off. Like, I mean, I don't keep tabs on him. Like, and look, he's very good for the area because he keeps the house and the grounds pristine. And look, trees fall on his property, but he plant them again as quick as they fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's very environmentalist astute, like, and he knows the nature that he has in his hands. You know, and you can see that he appreciates it. Like.
Oh,
you go along the property there and you see the little nesting boxes for blue tits and he put them up because the blue tit numbers were just falling apart because of the mink. But then when he put up those nest boxes, the mink couldn't get into them, so the blue tit population lifted a bit, you know. So
you're preaching to the choir here. I've not good time for that boy.
So he's he does his bit there. In other words, he has the land and he has the fishing there on that river, but he appreciates it and he looks after it. The other property owners, then, as you move down land, they don't care. You know, and obviously the people that with the sewers into the river most definitely don't care. Like, that's totally.
Are they even aware that is the case?
Of course they're aware.
That's your.
There's sewers pipes coming into the Blackwater, and they're they don't work anymore. They're just obsolete. But you can see them there. Like, you can see them. You can see that one time they did pollute the river, like, but they stopped it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you continue up the river, and they didn't stop it. Like. It has to be stopped. No, I don't want to be falling out with any families or anybody on the river, because I have a great relationship with a lot of people on the river and landowners and farmers. But these people need to be told you have to stop this. As I said, there's a grant available to get even to help them, right?
I don't education and awareness.
I don't think they need the bobs anyway, but
maybe it's just the awareness then.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more people aware of it, and then people living there, because I can tell you the smell on the river is putrid.
But unfortunately, that can be a problem everywhere. I mean, people who know stuff, and they'll say surely they know, when they probably sometimes don't even know until someone says it to them.
I think it's coming from a certain house on the river, right? But I could be wrong. It could be coming from further back or further but that's up to the EPA and the Cork County Council
to investigate
to investigate that. I am not an investigator. I'm only bringing a complaint to them.
Yeah.
But this time I want it fixed. I don't want to be pushed and put around the circles like a fucking cat chasing a little ball.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. You know, I'm just going to stop. This has to be done. When I'm going to give you a time to come back to me now and say they'll be back to me next week. What day in the morning or afternoon, and they have to come back to me. And this is the only way you're going to get things done in this country, is keep the pressure on them.
Yeah.
And if they're not back to me the following week when they say they are, I'm back onto them straight away. Why didn't you get back to me today? What's happening now? Up. I'm not putting up with it anymore. And then that's where I bring in the media then, like the radios and the newspapers.
Fucking hell.
I've done it all before, and I'll do it again. And it's as simple as that. As I said, I don't want to fall out with anybody, but there is somebody polluting the river, and it needs to stop.
Well, Kipper, bang your drum, buddy. And I'm happy that you are banging the drum.
Yep.
Because it's like everywhere I fucking looked, it's like, why is that the way it is? And why is this the way? When did this decline set in, like?
Yeah. I mean, there's stakeholders on the river, and they don't want this, like, and it shouldn't be happening this day and age. You know?
Fucking right, it shouldn't, man.
And I see the children going and swimming there, like, I mean, fuck that.
Fully. Good. Right, will we go and have a coffee inside?
We will.